welcome everybody to the first Tech Breakfast Club. This session, as it's session one, is going to be around Webex. As I'm sure you saw from your breakfast hampers that Cisco/Webex are actually sponsoring the Tech Breakfast Club, so we thought it was only right to focus around Webex on the first session. My name's Ollie. I'm sure I know most of you on the call, but if you don't, then I'm a solution consultant at Evolve IP. And we're going to be talking around Webex today. So a little bit around the agenda for today. So we're going to be going through a couple of updates that were announced at Webex 1. Then we're going to go through a bit of a Webex can do that. So around the Webex and the Microsoft product suite and how they can complement each other. Then we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. So Scott's kindly offered to give you guys a quick couple of minutes overview on the breach and the outage from a couple of weeks ago. We just thought it was really important to acknowledge that and be transparent. And then finally, it'd be a bit of an open session. So off the back of the slides, and obviously Scott's talk there, we'll have a bit of an open session. So you can ask us anything around the presentation, or if you've got any other questions, that's absolutely fine. In your responses for signing up to the event, we saw that obviously you've got lots of questions and lots of different topics that you would like us to cover. What we're going to do with that information is take that and build our future sessions around that. So we've got a really nice guide of where we want to go with the Breakfast Club moving forward. So again, if you don't worry, we've not ignored that feedback. We are building our sessions around that in the future. But again, if you've got something you want to ask us, then you can ask us that in the open session. So we're going to keep today really interactive, and by that we're going to be using Slido as a bit of fun throughout the slide deck, but also a bit of interaction. So if I can just ask everyone to scan the QR code and join in the Slido. The first bit we're going to be talking about is Webex 1 and some of the updates that were launched from Webex 1 last month. So really sort of a real key event around the Webex product suite, but also the expanding Cisco portfolio as well. It's an annual event hosted, and that's where a lot of the key innovations and keynotes are delivered to give people like us at Evolve IP and also some of our partners some really nice updates on what they can expect within the Webex portfolio. So this is not a quiz question, it's just an interaction question. Just kind of want to gauge the room around, who's actually heard of Webex 1. Okay, yeah, so the majority have heard of it. Okay, that's good to see. We've obviously done quite a good job on LinkedIn of sharing some information around that. So for those that haven't heard about Webex 1, essentially it's a real global hybrid event. So you can see here there was 15,000 virtual attendees, 2,300 in person, of which me and some of the Evolve IP team were part of that. What I really loved about the event was there's lots of breakout sessions and training classes. So I learned a lot around the Webex product suite, what we can do better to then deliver it to you as our partners. There was lots of different people there. So a lot of Webex customers, some really interesting people that were on stage. One was Mike Rockwell, who developed the Apple Vision Pro. So it's really interesting to hear from that. And as you can imagine, there was a lot of AI content and AI centric sessions as well, which is quite interesting. But it's a really, really large event, something that we were really proud to sort of take part in. And yeah, it happens annually every year, and it was a really, really, really good event. We've also got one coming up in the UK, the McLaren HQ. I believe some people are signed up to that on this call, which is going to be just another sort of follow on from that session. I do believe it's sold out, but as always, like this one, we'll feedback the updates where we can. So as you can imagine, being a technical conference in this day and age, the key theme really was AI. But the nice thing with Cisco's strategy is, yes, it's all about powerful AI and how we can deliver that, but it's utilizing that in the guise of empowering people and making every person who uses Webex, whether that's an employee or a customer experience, a better experience, and we can utilize AI to do that. I thought I'd pop this slide in there just so you get a bit of an idea of Cisco's overall strategy around AI. So really it's going to be baked into anything you touch or see that is Cisco. So whether that's data centers, so again, AI-ready data centers, future-proofing workplaces as well, and also that digital resilience, and it's all underpinned by Cisco's AI. So again, Cisco have got a really sort of keen strategy on that to have that baked in not only to the hardware but also the software that they sell, and obviously that we provide through Evolve IP. We've had lots and lots of momentum over the last year. So in Webex 1 last year, so Webex 123, there was lots and lots of updates around AI and how that's going to be brought into the Webex platform. We've now seen that being delivered this year. And we've seen incredible momentum with that, not only at Evolve IP, but I know Cisco have as a whole. So whether that's in the Webex suite, so the solution that we use, but so from the AI codec, which is really interesting. So sending dummy packets along with real packets. So if that packet gets lost, using generative AI to rebuild that packet. So providing a better experience across choppy bandwidth, or if you're roaming, for example. Meeting summaries, which you'll see today if you haven't used it already, because we've turned on the AI assistant. Some be right back detection as well. So if my front doorbell were to ring and I go downstairs, it will turn my camera off, it will mute me, and the AI assistant will give me a personalized summary for the exact time that I missed. Could be 2 minutes, could be 3 minutes, for example, but that's a nice personalized summary for me. We've got all kinds of different things around format and tone, but you can actually ask the AI assistant as well, native in the meeting, so you can interact with that. So if you open up the AI assistant panel, you should be able to ask it questions around, was my name mentioned, what was said about this, what topic, and then the AI can feed that back to you in real time, which is nice. You can have that interaction. Then you go on to devices. So again, with the devices, AI is baked into everything that Cisco do. So whether that's setting up your custom meeting zones, if you're in open office environments, and remove background noise from anyone within a 3 meter squared radius, for example, having cinematic meetings as well, and also some really enhanced speaker tracking. And then we move over to the management side. So when you're in Webex Control Hub, what can AI do for you? So there's actually an interactive AI assistant panel now in Control Hub. So you can say, I want to do this, or I'm struggling with this, and that can point you in the right direction, or say, yeah, that's under this setting here, that setting there. Also for developers as well. So if you want to develop an app against Webex, then again, you've got the AI assistant there to help you do that as well. So been some really, really good momentum with AI across the Webex portfolio, and also with Evolve IP as well. So coming up next is the first quiz question. So get ready. How many AI assistant enabled meeting minutes have there been in 2024? So this goes across not only Evolve Webex meetings, but also Webex meetings as a whole. And as I mentioned, the quicker you are, the better. And obviously you want to make sure you get the right answer. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, the actual answer is 300 plus million. So again, just following on from that momentum previously, there's been so much that we've done with AI and also with Webex. So whether that's 1 billion real-time translation enabled minutes, from 100 billion minutes of background noise removal. Again, if you've not utilized the background noise removal with Webex, it's absolutely fantastic. There was a situation where Scott was phoning me back on it from visiting Cardiff. He's going 70 miles an hour down the A4, hopefully. And for the first couple of minutes, I could hear the road noise. And after about 5 minutes of talking, I said, have you pulled over? And he hadn't. It's just the Webex picking up that background noise, monitoring it, and then being able to remove that, so for a better experience. 100 million plus collaboration devices shipped. So we're going to talk a little bit around devices later on. But again, we really see Cisco as the leader in that field. And well done, Amit, and the rest of the guys that got that correct. So yeah, 300 million plus AI assistant enabled minutes so far this year. And with this session, we're contributing to that as well. Some of the updates then from Webex 1 in terms of AI assistant for Webex. So you can see here, we've got a couple of nice updates. So whether that's from if you're in a meeting, so we can identify each speaker in the room. So rather than in the transcript, you've got boardroom or conference room. It will actually identify each different voice in that room. And again, there's different options you can have. You can turn on facial recognition in Control Hub, so it will pick users up and automatically put that user in the transcript, no matter if they're joining from a 25-person boardroom, for example. Or as you can see from the screenshot, you've got the ability then just to edit the voices. So you can see, okay, this is Scott, this is Craig, for example. So again, you've got the ability to do that, which is really nice. So just providing an enhanced transcript, especially if there's any action items off the back of that, then it picks that up really nicely. And then also AI assistant for devices. So again, if you've got any of the devices, that we've sold a fair few of the Roombar Pros, you can then utilize AI assistant natively on those devices. So Again, you can interact with the device and catch you up. What's the action items in there as well? And as you'll see at the bottom, it included at no additional cost. The really nice thing that I love about the development and the track that Cisco are on with AI is it's not a bolt-on addition. You know, it's not Webex plus AI. It's all baked in. So we're getting all of these new features at no additional license cost to you guys, which I think is really important. So not only is the software getting better, as you can see from the left-hand side, but also the hardware is getting better as well. And again, that's not an additional purchase or an upgrade. It's just a software update, which is really, really nice. One of the other updates that I've probably the key one that I was really excited about is an update to Vidcast. So Vidcast is a really cool tool. So you can see here, you can actually just upload a PDF or a PowerPoint into Vidcast. You choose your language, you choose the tone that you want to, and then also if it's a male or female voice, that will generate a video. So we did joke a little bit about maybe next time for the Tech Breakfast Club, we'll just get a Vidcast to do it for us. But you can see there, you can just quickly upload a file, whether that's PDF, PowerPoint, choose what tone you want it to, and then Vidcast will basically generate that for you with AI. So if you've got a employee starter book, if you've got a quick how-to, if you've got even a data sheet, for example, on a product, you can upload that. That will transform that flat document into a video and then a narrated video. So you can choose it to read word by word or do it as a presentation, for example. So again, it's just really leveling up Vidcast. And I would always urge you, if you haven't used Vidcast yet, definitely check it out. It's a really, really cool tool. I get the mickey taken out of me because they call me Olly Vidcast Harrison, because every time I'm going, we should do a Vidcast for that, or we could do a Vidcast for that, because it saves a lot of time rather than having to book a meeting in with you know, for you guys, for example, of how do we do this, how do we do that, or trying to then align calendars. I can quickly record a video on how to build a certain Kixley report or how to turn something on in Control Hub. I can then just send it to you. I've got that bit of my library, so if someone asks that question again, I can just send that off. So again, some really nice enhancement to the Vidcast product, as you can see there. Then we've also got Slido. So you'd have obviously just used Slido for the quiz. You'll have an AI built into Slido to actually read your PowerPoint and then build quiz questions off the back of that. I could definitely have done with that. I did this myself, but again, it's just making that a little bit easier for presenters and users utilizing Slido. So again, you can just generate questions based off the content in your slide deck. So you can say, okay, I don't like that question, I want that one. You can then build it in. And hopefully you'll agree, by utilizing Slido, we use it at our partner day, we use it in our webinars, and obviously we're using it in this session. It really, really helps with participant engagement. So whether that's a quiz like we're doing today and giving away a lovely headset, or whether it's just gauging some feedback around, you know, have you heard of Webex One, for example. So again, it's a really, really nice tool. And as you'll see, that integrates straight into PowerPoint. So you can have a little Slido application in there, and it'll just build all the polls off you for the presentation, all the content that you have. Another thing that I'm a real big fan of is the fact that AI Assistant supports 120 languages. So whether that's taking our meeting translation today, meeting transcript today, sorry, and translating that into one of those 120 languages, whether that's Slido questions as well. So the Slido polls will be in that native language for that user, whether it's Vidcast. So again, you saw when we're pumping that document into Vidcast, you can choose which language you want it to come out of. And also we've got some pre-existing translation capabilities for spaces and events as well. So for example, if you're in a WebEx space with 20 different people, you know, you can have 20 different people speaking 20 different languages. They can all have their own native language experience. The same for me. So I speak English. I'm trying to learn Spanish, not very well. But again, you can choose English. I can type my message into English. Let's say I'm talking to my colleague who speaks Mandarin. That colleague there is getting my messages in Mandarin dropped into them straight away. It obviously shows it's been translated. They can then type back to me in Mandarin, and I'm getting that in English. So the real sort of borders of collaboration are really taken down with having this real-time translation report in terms of collaboration. It's also key to note, we can do live closed captioning translation in 5 languages. So it's English, French, German, Spanish, and Italian. So again, if that's your native language, and I'm speaking to you now, you can have the real-time closed captions translated from me into that language as well. But you do really get a lot more languages, and it's not visual audio language, as you can imagine. It just takes a little bit of time to get there. So really, really cool around sort of the language translation piece, and really fostering that inclusivity in this global workplace that we live in nowadays. Even handy if you just want to put English, and US English, for example, that can always help. So from as simple as that to a lot more complex languages. And this isn't really an update slide, but I just wanted to pop that in there around just a bit of openness around the Cisco AI principles. Again, we've got documentation on this that we can send over, but again, you'll see the AI codec, that's the transparent technical note. As you'll see, very transparent accountability and security all built in with Cisco, but I just wanted to leave that in there. To make sure that there's ethical principles and you're all aware of that. So again, we can send that off if either you want to have a look at it, or if one day one of your customers wants to look at it, that's fine. They'll be available for you to read and have a look at. So next slide is a quiz question. So get ready. Okay, So can AI assistants summarize your WebEx messages? Okay. Yes, well, I'm glad to say that everybody got that correct. So now with some of the WebEx One updates, we're going to talk about some of the devices that was updated and some of the things that they've added to existing devices as well that we learned from the conference. So one of the things is around spatial meetings. So I'm sure we've all seen it with the Meta Oculus, I believe it is, and also Apple Vision Pro. Spatial computing is really starting to take off. I actually had a demo of the Apple Vision Pro. Not sure if anyone else has, but definitely go check it out. It's one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. But really around sort of the spatial meetings in WebEx, making sure that distance is zero. So whether that's a cinematic feel, immersing sound, and also having that distraction-free meeting. So you'll see here WebEx for Apple Vision Pro. Again, I think the Apple Vision Pros are out just north of £3,000, so not cheap. But you can see here that WebEx fully supports that, so you can have spatial immersive meetings in there as well. You can also have access to Slido, AI, background noise removal, the real-time translations, all natively within the Apple Vision Pro experience. So again, something that's really cool. And what you can also do, as you'll see here, just a bit of a demo of what it looks like. If you've got a Roombar Pro, it's just a software upgrade, and that turns that device into a spatial studio. So if you've got someone joining from a Vision Pro and you've got a Roombar Pro, you do that software upgrade, and that creates that into a spatial space. So you can feel there with the most immersive meeting experience. So some really cool updates around that. And as I mentioned, we heard on stage from Mike Rockwell from Apple, who was part of the team that actually developed the Vision Pro, and it's really interesting. I think they've registered something anywhere between 300 to 500 patents on the Vision Pro. It was a long process, but again, it was really interesting to hear about sort of the future of spatial computing and how that looks. I'm definitely hoping to get my hand on one maybe one day, but they are really cool devices. So again, just not only do you need a Vision Pro, but you can just do a quick software update on your existing device and enable that as well, which is really cool. Something else that Cisco launched is the Ceiling Mic Pro. So it's an industry first AI adaptive microphone. So again, it uses adaptive beamforming. So again, it can pick up the user that's speaking in the room and point to that and then remove the noise around that, which is really nice. As you'll see, it's a ceiling mounted mic. So you don't have to worry about all the cables running across the meeting room and all of that sort of stuff. It's very quick to set up. It auto provisions. So you can set that up in minutes, not hours, and also utilize spatial audio. So if you've got cinematic meetings, and just for those who may not know what cinematic meetings are, it's where you have multiple different cameras in a meeting room. So you may have one at the front end there, one at the back, one on the side. So again, it can pick that up, and that's what Cisco are referring to in cinematic meetings. So again, you can use some nice spatial audio around that. Again, just a really nice device. A couple of the other things that were mentioned at WebEx One regarding devices is the actual broader portfolio of Cisco as well, not just the meeting room devices. So you'll see here we've got a couple of different different options. So you can see you've got Control Hub, which we would use for managing the WebEx environment anyway. But you can get some really nice device analytics to see, okay, are we using our devices enough? Who's using them the most? If we're using them, are we sharing content? Are we using video? Are we using AI Assistant, for example? So you can get all of that data from Control Hub. You've then got Thousand Eyes as well as an addition if you want. That's for advanced troubleshooting on those devices as well. And then you've also got something called Cisco Spaces, which is a really cool Cisco product, not something personally that we offer, but again, we can complement it with WebEx and the devices that we offer. But it's really cool. So you can build your office basically. All of the Cisco devices act as sensors. So whether that's a Meraki access point, for example, or the meeting room kit, you can pick up things such as air quality. You can look at occupancy of users. You can see the CO2 level. What's the temperature, for example. And there's a really cool McLaren video that WebEx did, where they're utilizing spaces, but they're also utilizing like room bars, desk pros, and some of the really nice Cisco kit that we can offer. And you can go in and say, if you're an eco-conscious company, you can say, okay, I've got to book a meeting at 10 a.m. Where should I book it? It will say, well, book it on this side of the building because that's the sun's on it in the morning, so you don't have to turn the heating on. Or you might prefer a cooler meeting room, so you can say, okay, I want to set the air conditioning to this when I get there. So again, you can really integrate that with your office environment. And all the devices that we offer act as sensors for those. So all of the Cisco devices for meetings are monitoring air quality, noise volume, temperature, all of that sort of good stuff. And also then you can build it off, for example, this meeting room is by a coffee machine. If I want to book a meeting at 10 o'clock, the device picks up a lot more ambient noise around that time. So maybe I'll book it somewhere else if I want to be a bit less distracted. So again, it gives you lots of different options in terms of that. And one of the really cool, probably one of my favorite updates, along with the vidcast update with WebEx One, was the Workspace Designer. So this is live. You can just browse Cisco Workspace Designer. Basically, it allows you to build a mock-up of your meeting room or your customer's meeting room. So you can do it with accurate measurements if you have those, or you can kind of do a guesstimate. You can then select how many occupancies is in that room. So whether it's a 10, 12, 15 person meeting room, you can choose the table design. So whether that's a horseshoe like in our boardroom in Cardiff, and then you can start to choose your devices. So, we want to go with a Room Bar Pro. It will then show you the video coverage in that room. It will give you some tips around, okay, if you really want to stick with this device, maybe change the table configuration from a horseshoe to a boardroom table so we've got full video coverage. It will also then pick up, okay, at the back, the microphone might be poor, so then you can add in different microphones here, there, and everywhere and ensure you've got full coverage. And you can also in here actually choose if you want to do it on a Cisco Room OS with the Cisco devices, or you can actually select a MTR, so Microsoft Teams Room experience on the Cisco devices within the Workspace Designer as well. So it gives you lots of different coverage there, but it's really, really nice and cool. You've got lots of different views. Definitely worth checking out online as well. It's a really, really nice tool. Takes a lot of the guesswork out of saying, okay, does the room bar fit this room size, for example? So again, a really, really helpful tool for that. So another quiz question. Does the Workspace Designer also support designs for Teams OS on Cisco devices? So the MTR Microsoft Teams Room from the Workspace Designer. Okay. Okay, 95% of you got that correct. So yes, it does. So as mentioned, you can choose to have it on a Cisco Room OS or a Teams OS, so MTR in there as well. So we're now just going to do a quick recap of the announcements. So again, you can see here in terms of the key announcements, unlocking employee engagement with the AI assistant. So just making your employees or making their lives better by utilizing the tools that we have from AI. As you see, the true to life experiences with Cisco devices, and also being able to just design the future of your Cisco. So whether that's a new meeting room here, there, or everywhere, whatever you would like to do. So this isn't a quiz question. This is just kind of gauge a bit of feedback. So what's the sort of coolest update in your eyes from WebEx 1? Vodkas. I kind of hope that's a Bidcast spelling mistake at this time in the morning, but fair enough. Meeting rooms, Bidcast. Cool. Nice. Yeah, the building videos from the flat docs is really cool. And yeah, like you say, the language translation is really nice in there as well. So we'll keep that up now and we'll move on, just conscious of time. So we'll keep moving. So the second part of my session is really around WebEx can do that. So as you just saw from the agenda slide, really focusing on the WebEx can do that, but from the Office 365 integration suite. So we're fully aware that most users will live in a joint Microsoft and Cisco world. We are one of those companies. So we're an Office 365 company. We use WebEx for collaboration. We also have to use Teams because our customers use Teams, and that's fine. But most people live in a joint world around that. So again, there's lots of different options around how can you get the most and how can you maximize the investment in those two different products. What services can you then get from WebEx, and how can they actually interrupt and actually complement that Microsoft product suite? So this is quite a nice slide of how we would see the best user experience. So if you've got a user using Office 365, for example, and we go in and we sell them WebEx, how can they get the most out of WebEx complementing that Office 365 suite? So firstly, it's actually changing the authentication provider. So out of the box, WebEx will give you your BroadWorks credentials to sign in with, so the ones that you build on Anywhere portal. You can change that. So it's not just Azure, there's Google and other options as well. But for this instance, again, you can change it to Azure SSO for authentication for WebEx. I know I've done that with some of you guys, but again, just really nice because it's one set of credentials to remember. Then it's a familiar signing experience. We can also do an AD sync. So as you'll see from Anywhere Portal, we can come in sync into the AD. So you add a user on there, build them on Anywhere Portal, then build them on WebEx. There's also a different option with that, so that maybe that's AD contact directory. So again, we can have that integrated as well. Around content management. So again, we can integrate with OneDrive and SharePoint as well. Messaging, so different collaborations around those documents, for example. Then you've got the schedule, meet, and integrate portion. So whether that's you bring in your Exchange or an Outlook, for example. So you can schedule meetings. You could do data calendar lookups, for example, when you want to schedule meetings. You then have the calling element. So having that plug-in into the Microsoft Teams environment. And then also devices, which we'll cover on at the end as well as having those certified Teams devices that work on both platforms as well. So this kind of really is the ideal journey in terms of maximizing WebEx and also that Office 365 suite. So Why use Azure SSO? Well, in my opinion, it's a better user experience. It's one set of credentials to remember, and also less password reset requests. So you can remove some of the load from your support desk and put it on the Microsoft support desk, which only sounds to me like a good thing. But also from a security perspective, it's SSO obviously, but also if you've got any MFA policies on the tenant, they'll get enforced on those users when they're signing in as well. So from a user experience, it's better, but also from a security experience as well. If you've got MFA on there, then you can overlay that. Now, this isn't a quiz question. This is just kind of gauge a bit of feedback. So do you feel that changing your provider will impact user experience and security? Okay. Okay, good to know. So majority saying yes, some saying no, some not sure. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, it's different for every user or organization. But again, it's I suppose for me, it's nice to see that the majority sort of go with yes on that one. So just moving in then into some of the integrations that we have. So you'll see here, this is PowerPoint. So you see I'm signing in to Webex natively in PowerPoint. So again, we have integrations into PowerPoint, Word, Excel, where you can actually just sign in to Webex, and then you can actually start collaborating from within the PowerPoint window or the Word window or the Excel window. So you see there I've signed in. I've then got my different spaces that I have access to. So again, so whether that's I want to then message and collaborate some people, so I'm opening the demo chat there, I can then start collaborating and sending some messages, can drop files in there and all of that good stuff. So again, having that integration into PowerPoint to be actually collaborate natively is really, really powerful. I use it a lot of the time when I'm condensed down to one screen and I might be on a train working on a document, working on a spreadsheet, for example. Just it saves me popping between two different applications. I can have that open while I'm communicating. So again, the Webex integrations really are quite deep within the Office 365 suite. And then we look at the OneDrive and the SharePoint integration, like we mentioned before. So again, you can actually attach folders to spaces within Webex. So again, if anyone adds any files into that, that will automatically get uploaded to your OneDrive or your SharePoint. You can natively collab on documents. So again, if there's a PowerPoint, you can open PowerPoint. That pops up in a Webex window. You don't have to load PowerPoint up if you don't want to. You then got the calendaring. So again, you can integrate your Exchange or an Outlook in there. Like I mentioned, we use this all the time because if I want to book a meeting in with Jamie, Scott, Craig, for example, I don't have to send a message to everyone or call them say what time's good. I can just do a schedule a meeting, put in 11 o'clock. Okay, Craig and Jamie might be free, but Scott's not. I can move it to 10. I can see that everyone's free and I can schedule that meeting. So again, just giving you that empowerment to be able to schedule meetings, knowing that you've got a good chance of everyone actually joining that meeting. And when you schedule meetings, you can choose to do that natively in Webex, or you can actually open that in Outlook. So you can do it in that Outlook experience if you want to as well. And just something I thought I'd leave in there, not something that we do personally. I do know someone that works at Mio, but again, there is message interrupt platforms out there. So you can have a Webex messages and collaborate with someone on Teams, and Mio is that middleware that will blend that all together. So again, not something that we do at Evolve IP, but again, I just thought it was something worth mentioning, sort of the art of the possible in there. So moving on to calling, I'm sure most of you would have seen the plugin for Microsoft Teams, so we can deliver a calling experience into Microsoft Teams, albeit it's not native. So you'll see here, this is what the plugin looks like. So we've got lots of different functionality in there. So basically brings in your Webex dial pad. So again, you can make calls and that pop Webex up in the background. We've got some really nice options in terms of minimizing all of the Webex windows as well. So it will only pop up the active calling window. So it's trying to give you a native experience without it being native. But you see, we've got lots of different functionalities and some speed dial, contact searching. So again, you can see multi-line visibility. Again, when you've got calls coming in, is that coming from a HUD group, for example? You've got call forwarding status in there as well. Obviously, you've got your call history, and you've also got voicemail. So voicemail for us is coming in the next few months. We just need to do a patch on our platform to enable that. So again, in a couple of months, you will have voicemail enabled within the plugin as well. And there's also some updates coming to the plugin as well. So it's actually going to have a rename. So it's going to be called Cisco Call out of the box. But what we were told at Webex One, and as you'll see, there's a big subject to change banner at the top, that you'll actually be able to customize the name of the app and the logo. So you can put your partner name. So it might be, for example, XYZ Telecom Call, and you can brand that with your logo, or you can even put the company's logo on there as well if you wanted to. So again, that's just some nice updates coming to the app that lives in Teams. We've also got a really nice bi-directional presence sync. So again, some may be aware of this, some may not, but we can actually sync the presence up between Webex and Teams, and you'll see there's a nice chart of how that looks. So different statuses on different platforms and how that then translates. So again, understanding that most people don't live in a one platform world, having that one source of presence can be quite tricky. By enabling this presence sync is really nice and easy. It's literally just a tick box in Control Hub, done. Can take 24 hours to set up, but you literally press a button and then it will start to work when it's configured. So again, really, really nice and easy to do, and again, just enhancing that experience. So we've got a quiz question next. So this is a bit of a shot in the dark one. So just want to know, what percentage of organizations support 2 or more meeting platforms? Okay. So interesting, yes. So 85% from this study that multi-platform collab is here to stay. So again, you see some businesses using 6, 5, 4 meeting rooms, meeting platforms, sorry, which is a lot. I suppose we would fall under that category in some essence because I don't always choose to host the meeting, so I get dragged into Teams, Zoom, Google, you name it, along with Webex as well. But again, it's really interesting to see how many different meeting platforms that companies are using. And in actual fact, I've seen customers that will have a Zoom meeting room, a Webex meeting room, and a Teams meeting room, all set up with a native experience because they have so many meeting platforms, they don't want to reboot the device every time they want to change meeting platform. So again, quite interesting, and that dovetails quite nicely then onto sort of the last few slides. So I mentioned around multi-platform video collab. So with the Cisco devices, you can have it with the Cisco Rooms experience or the Microsoft Teams Room experience. Same device, it's all powered by Cisco Room OS. And the nice thing is there's no reboots. So if you choose a Teams meeting room experience and you then have a Webex call that's been thrown in there, you don't have to reboot the whole device and faff around changing it back to Cisco Rooms experience. You can join Webex meetings from the Teams Room experience and still have all the features such as the AI assistant Slido all within that. So utilizing the Microsoft Teams Room experience on those Webex meetings. So again, really powerful. Why would you use Cisco devices, Microsoft Teams? Well, because you can, as you said, reimagine your workspace. So you can use that workspace designer. You get the full value of Teams Room and also Webex meetings as well. So you're not compromising on any features because of the hardware that you have. Again, you get the best of the Cisco devices in terms of the audio and the camera intelligence that's built into those devices. And also you can just manage it all from Control Hub. You don't have to have multiple different platforms to look at analytics and management, for example, and debug, for example. You can do all that from one place. And there's Teams experiences for every single workplace. So whether that's a mobile worker, so the camera and headset. So the camera that I'm using is a Teams certified camera. The headset that Adam looks like is going to win is a Teams certified headset as well. Whether that's then at your desk, so you can use one of the desk series, which is a really cool product. Whether that's then a meeting room, an auditorium, or even the hallway, so you can have the tablet, so and you can book meetings in the Teams room experience from there. So it's really interesting. And there's lots and lots of different devices that Cisco have that are certified for Microsoft Teams. So you'll see there from the Desk Pro to the RoomKit EQX. Like I mentioned, the most popular one that we've seen is the Roombar Pro because it's Cisco Room OS and obviously the Teams meeting room experience, but it supports the dual screen, which is really interesting. And then you've got accessories as well. So you can see you've got the Room Navigator, the Bang & Olufsen headset that we're giving away today, and some of the other Cisco headsets are all certified for Microsoft Teams. And the nice thing with the Cisco devices, it's only Cisco devices that are officially certified for WebEx. So you can have the best of both. So you've got the Cisco devices that are the only ones certified for WebEx, and then you've also got the ones that are certified for Teams. So you can have the best of both worlds. And as I said, not compromise on that meeting experience and give away any features. One thing that we've spoke about a lot is the Roombar Pro. Like I mentioned, that's been very popular because it's the first multi-screen system for Teams rooms, which is crazy. So again, you've got the dual screen support. So we have that in our boardroom, so we can have people on one and content on the other. Again, give you all that spatial noise and noise removal. And you also got multi-camera ready as well, so you can power cinematic meetings off the back of it. And as I mentioned, if anyone's lucky enough to have a Vision Pro, you can do a software upgrade and create that into a spatial meeting space as well, which is really nice. So you'll see here, like I mentioned earlier, so you can join native WebEx and Teams meetings on the same device. So you see this is in full MTR mode. It's one button to join from the calendar. So again, it's no messing around putting in meeting information. You get full access to Slido and all the embedded apps and all that sort of stuff. But I think the key thing here is the no reboot and reconfig required. So you can jump between a Teams, WebEx, Zoom, Google, whatever it is on that Cisco device and not have to do any device reboots, which is really powerful. And then just kind of finally on this, many devices have not been built for multi-platform world. Cisco are really at the forefront of this. So again, some other competitors really find it hard to switch from one meeting platform to next. You compromise on the features and the experience, and also then that fragmented layer of data and analytics. Again, because it's all Cisco product, you can manage it all out of Control Hub. So again, really nice and easy. So this is the final quiz question. So get ready. So which meeting room devices are certified for WebEx? Okay, there we go. Okay, so good to know that 91% of you got that correct. Yeah, so it is Cisco devices, the only devices certified for WebEx. So you can have you can join a WebEx meeting from a Poly, Yearlink, Logitech, for example, but it's not a certified WebEx device. So it's only Cisco that are certified for WebEx. But as you'll have seen, they're also certified, the Cisco devices, for Teams, Google, and Zoom as well. Just kind of want to get your key takeaway from this WebEx session. So what's one thing that you're really taking away from this that you can then maybe put into practice going forward? Okay, good to see AI is at the top there. Yep, integrations, collaboration. Yeah, the translation is a really cool one. In the end, something that's available today, which is nice. Okay, yeah, so lots of AI there as well. Multi-platform integration. Yeah, that's good to see. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully that's been helpful. Right, well, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for being part of the first Breakfast Club session. Thanks, everybody.